Hello and welcome to Bridgewater Raynham High School in Raynham, Mass. On Saturday, November 19th for SportView's award-winning production of Holliston Panther Football 2022. It's found only on HCAT TV. Today, the Panthers face the Duxbury Dragons in the semifinals of the MIAA Division IV State Football Tournament. My name is Tom Emmons, and alongside is my co-host, the legend, Jay Wyman. Jay, the Panthers have beaten a couple of good teams to make it to the Final Four. What do you expect to see from Holliston against Duxbury today?
Well, Duxbury, Tom, is absolutely positively loaded. They have just about everything you'd want, starting with a good coaching staff and experience in playoffs. They just went to the Super Bowl last year, lost a close game to Situate. They got a tremendous quarterback. They got a great line. They got runners. They got receivers. They got just about everything, and they've just been pummeling teams on the way here. So you say, okay, so what does that mean about Holliston? Well, you know, here's the thing. Holliston played Milton. And after the end of that game, I remember running into Coach Perry and Coach Kiley. And Coach Perry just looked at me and he said, I hope we learned something. And after that game, Holliston really turned it on, and they really did a nice job. So Holliston has a lot of athletes. They got some great players too, you know, and I think they're kind of getting played down in this situation with all the excitement over Duxbury, which, by the way, Duxbury deserves those kind of compliments. But Holliston's got the athletes. Holliston's got the coaching staff. They got the capability. They got the knowledge. And, you know, we've talked incessantly in these broadcasts about how you have to play a clean game and you have to do everything right. Well, that's what they have to do. If they do that, they definitely have a shot at winning this game. But they got to play. They got to play clean. They got to tackle, and just take what they learned from that Milton game and apply it here today.
Holliston comes in as the number 4 seed with a record of 9-1, averaging 33 points a game, allowing just 15 on the defense. Their head coach is Todd Kiley in his 20th season with the Panthers. His record, 166 wins against 53 losses. The Duxbury Dragons are the number 1 seed in Division IV. Their record is a perfect 9-0. They are averaging a spectacular 44 points a game and allowing just 17. Their head coach is Matt Landolfi in his 3rd season with the Dragons. His record, 22 wins against just 2 losses. Captains coming out for the coin toss for Holliston, number 13, TJ Kiley, number 11, Brady Sweeney, number 9, Joey Gentile, number 54, Pierce Alachi, number 56, Grant Harper. For Duxbury, number 2, Matt Festa, number 5, Captain Chris Walsh, number 55, Nicholas Ayers, number 10, Brendan Bonner, and number 6, Colin Quinlan.
You're going to see 2 really good quarterbacks today, and both of them, their fathers grew up in Holliston. Matt Festa's father, Chris, grew up in Holliston, and they roomed together in college. They played ball together. So it's kind of like an all Holliston quarterbacking situation here today.
The truth is stranger than fiction, they say. You can't make this stuff up. Chris Festa is a huge Panther fan, except today.
Yeah. Well, then he can be one again in a couple of weeks. This is a good team, Tom. I mean, I saw this team play on a lot of films, this Duxbury team, and they are just absolutely loaded. And Fester is one of the top quarterbacks in the state. This team is one of the top teams in the entire state. Forget just Division IV.
So Holliston will kick to Duxbury.
Duxbury has accepted the kickoff for the first half.
The teams are psyched up for this big matchup. We'll be back with the opening kickoff in just a few moments. And now HCAT's onboard stats computer, Carlos Canto with Los's pregame lowdown.
Thank you very much, Tom. These two teams have played a couple times in recent memory, 2014 and 2015. Both of those games in the regular season and both Panther victories. Take a look at this stat, though. 2014, Panthers outrushed Duxbury 404 yards to 92, and then again the next year 191 to 140. That's a combined almost 600 yards to 200 yards rushing discrepancy in those two games. And we'll see if the rushing game comes into a factor or becomes a factor in this game, and we see a heavy dose of Devin Harding.
Thank you, Lose. Any weather report?
Oh, it's beautiful. Just about 45 degrees, partly cloudy here in Bridgewater. The sun is out, shining. There is a bit of a breeze, though.
Opening kickoff, chip short. Kneel down at the 30-yard line, and that's where the Dragons will take over 1st and 10.
Okay, you want to watch number 2, Matt Festa. He's a special one, and he can run and he can throw. And when he throws, he has been incredibly accurate.
The Dragons offense averaging 401 yards a game, 256 through the air and 145 on the ground. Panther defense has been doing the job all season, allowing 210 yards a game, 137 through the air and just 73 on the ground.
And they're fast and they can cover, and they do a really nice job of getting to the quarterback too.
Colin Quinlan in motion. Matt Festa takes it himself right up the middle. Picks up about 7 yards.
You'll see a lot of that today. Festa, he can go around the corner. He's got the speed, but he's also a very, very big quarterback, so he has no problem going in between the tackles.
That was CJ Pacheco that came up and made that hit.
Matt Festa, 6'3", 205 is his listing. 2nd down and 3, handoff to Alex Barlow. He's rushed for 624 yards and 13 touchdowns for the Dragons as he picks up a 1st down there.
Yeah, they have other rushes too. They have other runners, but they just get overshadowed by Festa. He's just so good. I'm not quite sure what his average run is, but the film I've seen, he has made some really long runs.
Festa takes it himself again. This time tackle around the ankles by OZ. Owen Zakshevsky, number 8, stops Festa for a 5-yard gain. 2nd and 5. Ball's at the 48-yard line. Fake again on the jet sweep. Festa takes it himself. Tackled by Lucas Bagenkorf, number 33.
He's got another 1st down. This is something that they have to do, Tom. They really have to stop Festa's running game. I mean, you know, you kind of pick your poison with him, but at least if he's putting the ball up in the air, you get a shot at getting it yourself.
1st and 10. Handoff to Barlow.
Yeah, it's coming back. This is coming back, I believe.
Tackled by Cooper Olson, number 4.
Let's see if there's a holding here.
Coach Kiley indicating it's against Duxbury, and now they walk it off.
Yeah, holding.
Holding on Duxbury. Take the ball back. Start 1st down again. It'll be 1st down.
So this is a 1st and 20 here, or about 20. And now what you have to do is you really have to make sure you're containing Festa on the ends and make sure you stay strong in the middle there. Don't let him get too many yards here.
1st and 17. Handoff to Chris Walsh that was Colin Quinlan, number 6, on the jet sweep, but nice tackle out there in the open field by Holliston.
Kevin Sahajian got in there on the tackle as well, along with Nick Lurch.
Second down and 13 for the Dragons. Empty backfield for Festa. Festa looks to throw. Now he's going to take it himself.
Well done.
Great job.
Nice job. Keeping him in the pocket was C.J. Pacheco. But number 9, Joey Gentile with a hit.
That is classic how to play the defensive end position or the contained position right there. The quarterback wanted to get out around the end, and C.J. Pacheco did a fantastic job. And you know, Tom and Carlos, he's been playing really great football lately. He's developed a couple moves where he can get in and make some tackles on the quarterback. And this forces now a 3rd and long for Duxbury.
Yeah, on the season, Panthers are holding opposing offenses to 31% on 3rd down.
3rd and 13. Festa tipped, intended for Walsh.
Dennison
So
with the
4th
coverage.
down.
Yeah, the ball was tipped there, and a nice job by Holliston. You know, they teach you, Tom, if you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up and take away those passing lanes, and that's what it was done right there.
Didn't see who got that ball, but it was in the line. Probably Villa or Zach Shefsky are 2 tall guys.
Now this will be punting into the wind. So the wind is a gusty type wind, not really, really strong, but every so often the gusts fly up. And timeout Holliston.
So with 8:33 to go in the first quarter, no score. We'll be back in just a few moments. Okay, out of the timeout, number 6, Andrew Dennison goes back to receive the kick.
Well, the other thing they did was they want to drop somebody up a little bit higher up here, just in case, because I believe that's Festa back there kicking. You want to make sure that he does kick and not pass.
So 4th down from midfield. Festa gets the kick away. It's a spiral that drives Dennison all the way back to the 5. And all the way to the 5-yard line. Or they're going to mark it at the 8. Holliston will take over 1st and 10.
All right, so on defense now, they can get scored upon. They can be scored upon. They gave up 41 points in their last game, Duxbury did. So you can get to them. The film I saw is kind of like most of the teams we played, Tom, is you can kind of get them around the end, but you can also beat them deep. And TJ Kiley's kind of got the wind behind him now, so I'm not sure down here if they'll try it, but he may be able to throw a little deep.
This Panther offense averaging 321 yards a game, 194 through the air, 127 on the ground. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Kiley hands off to Harding up the middle. He picks up a couple. This Dragon defense is pretty good, allowing just 230 yards a game, 134 through the air, 196 on the ground.
But, you know, it's funny. We talk about a lot of these things with Duxbury and everything, and they've played a pretty good schedule. They really have. But they've also built a lot of their stats got built up a little bit from some of the weaker teams they've played. So I'm not sure if they've played a team quite as good as Holliston is, other than Franklin.
And Scituate.
But of course,
that's the common opponent.
That's the common opponent, right?
2 teams.
But Franklin, they dominated for the first half.
2nd and 9. Kiley rolls out off the hands of the Dragon player. Incomplete.
Yeah, TJ was looking for Sweeney there, and Brady actually was open, but the ball was just thrown a little too low.
So big 3rd down decision here for the Panthers. See what Coach Kiley has dialed up. 7:33 to go in this first quarter. Sweeney and Gentile to the left, short side of the field. Dennison and McCarron to the right, wide side. Kiley to throw, throws it to Harding in the short, right out of the backfield. He crosses the 10 to the 12, but that's going to bring up 4th down and 5.
Tackle by number 56, Brent Watts. 4th down.
Coach Kiley sends out the punt team.
Yeah, TJ Kiley's back there to punt. Talked about his punting in the last game. He doesn't really get it really up too high, but he gets a really good roll on it. It's a lower kick, and it just kind of hits and rolls sometimes.
Duxbury back is shielding his eyes from the sun.
That
Bounces
hit,
off, and it's a live ball.
Okay.
Holliston's on it.
Yep.
Panther ball at midfield. And the referee signal is for Holliston.
Who's at the bottom of that pile? It's number 70.
Number 70, Jack Schelling.
Tom, when you first started this stuff with broadcasting these games, what did I tell you about the ball?
It's not round, Jay.
The ball's not round, and the ball will bounce in all weird directions. And the way that TJ kicks, as I said, it's a lower one, and it will bounce, and it normally bounces in that direction forward. So not only did they get a good bounce on it, but it was out of control and hit a Duxbury player, and now Holliston's got a good opportunity here. And when you're coming into the playoffs and you're playing teams like this, these are the opportunities you must take advantage of.
Holliston offense back out on the field at midfield. Kiley to Harding on first down, right up the middle. Fought his way for 3 or 4.
Taken down by the Dragons. Short gain. It'll be second down. 2nd and 7.
2nd and 7 for the Panthers.
Now, Devin Harding is a running back. He's done a great job. I mean, this is his 2nd year as a starter, and he gets a lot of yardage. He fights hard. He's always leaning forward. He's always making sure that he finishes going forward, and that always picks him up an extra yard or 2.
Devin Harding with over 1,000 yards rushing and receiving and 16 touchdowns this season. 2nd and 7. Kiley rolls right, looks down the field. He's got number 11, Brady Sweeney, who gets hit out of bounds.
And 15 more yards coming.
So another break for the Panthers. Brady Sweeney, that was his 40th catch of the season. Puts him over 600 yards with 7 touchdowns on the year.
And he's hit out of bounds, so there'll be another 15-yard personal foul penalty.
Even we could see that one.
Yeah, even I could see it. So you're getting down, and if you look at that play, I mean, if you get the replay of that play at all, you will see that Brady Sweeney is getting open, and I'm not sure. I'm trying to see if they're doubling either one of these receivers, either Sweeney or Dennison. But Brady Sweeney, even when they were throwing the ball down in the end zone there, he was wide open too. So you might want to kind of watch that a little bit.
So clock is stopped with 5:46 to go in the first quarter. The ball's at the 22-yard line. Holliston 1st and 10. Three receivers to Kiley's left. Kiley to throw. Looks to the left. Connects with Gentile, number 9, as he crosses the 15 to the 14-yard line.
This is what happens with TJ Kiley. He starts feeling it. He gets in one of in these grooves and he starts going. And when he does, he's very accurate, and he can put the ball just about where he wants to.
That was the 13th catch of the season for Gentile. Puts him over 130 yards with a touchdown. He's got 3 two-point attempts.
And this is what
he's been successful on.
I'm sorry, Tom. This is the down all these coaches like, 2nd and short.
2nd and 2 for Holliston. Three receivers to the right. Kiley looks to the right, throws to the corner, up high. He's got it. Touchdown, Panthers!
Yeah.
Brady Sweeney.
Yeah, he's going to be open, and it looks like the way things are going, he's going to be open all day. And they keep looking at him. Now, what will happen is, a lot of times what will happen, and we talk about pick your poison with, Duxbury and Festa. It's the same thing with Holliston. Pick your poison. You want to double one of these guys, Dennison, then that's going to open up Brady. You want to double Brady, that's going to open up Dennison. And if you double both of them, then you got Harding and Gentile to worry about.
McElliott for the extra point attempt. It's up and good. So a successful Jack Schelling snap and a Nick Larch hold, and just like that, 4:51 to go in the first quarter, and the Panthers are on the board, 7-0.
Yeah, and they did what we said to the. You get an opportunity like that, you got to finalize the score, get down in there, and get your touchdown. Check that box. So far, so good for Holliston.
50 yards in 4 plays, a minute and 48 seconds on that drive for the Panthers.
And they found something, Los. They found something in that defensive backfield that they can take advantage of.
That was the 8th touchdown catch and the 18th of Brady Sweeney's Panther career. For TJ Kiley, that was his 26th touchdown pass of the season. And Jack McElliott, that was his 27th extra point out of 31 attempts. It's been very accurate for the Panthers.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go in his career, too. He's only a sophomore, right?
Right.
Only a sophomore. 4:51 left to go in the first quarter.
Owen Zakshevsky, number 8, tees up the ball to kick off again. His kick scoots around the ball on the ground and right through the 2 receivers, and Festa falls on it at the 20-yard line. So the deep receivers came up to get it. It went scooted right between the 2 of them.
Yeah, well, that's both. The last punt and this kick here, they haven't played it too well. And now your defense has to come here and hold. They have to, don't give up that long pass.
So Duxbury with the ball back on its own 21-yard line. Festa hands off to Barlow on first down. He's wrapped up.
Sometimes in these games, you look at the thing and you wonder.
Combination of Badenkoff and Zakshevsky. Sorry, Jay.
That's right. How these teams are going to play each other, and sometimes it's just a matchup. And in this situation, Holliston's played a lot of really big lines. Duxbury's line is not that big.
2nd and 6, Festa to throw out in the flat. He's got his receiver. And enough for the first down out to the 40-yard line. That was Colin Quinlan with his 29th catch of the season.
Well, as I was saying, here they come. They'll do this a lot. They'll speed up the play a little bit, get their rhythm, get their motion back. But Holliston's not playing as big of a line as they've been playing against the last 3 games, so they can use their speed to get through there. The other thing is, too, you got to be very careful. If you let these guys release off the line, these receivers, they are excellent, these Duxbury receivers. You got to really cover them tightly.
1st and 10. Festa takes it up the middle. Met right away. That was number 9, Joey Gentile, who met Festa head on, but he's got 5 yards on first down.
Yeah, you wonder if Hollis is going to use one of these spy situations on Festa or not. If they do, it had to be somebody big like
Second
Gentile.
and 5, and Festa takes it himself, but up comes number 33, Lucas Badenkoff.
Well, Badenkoff, he's really come on this year. He's a younger player, and every game he's getting better and better.
Another sophomore starting on the Panther varsity.
This is a big 3rd down if they can hold him here, too.
3rd down and 6. Festa to throw, looks right, flings it out to number 6, Colin Quinlan. And he's got a first down, and he's inside the 25-yard line.
Yeah, that was a blown coverage somewhere. Quinlan was all by himself.
Festa had a lot of time in the backfield to make that throw.
Yeah, you got to put pressure on him, and it's like a lot of quarterbacks. You got to come up the middle with that pressure.
So they actually put the ball right on the 25. Festa to throw, dumps off a little screen pass to Barlow. He's into the backfield. Brady Sweeney hits him, but not until he's down to the 5-yard line.
2:40 left to go in the first quarter. It'll be first and goal. I think. Well, yeah.
They put the ball at the 2.
Holliston was in great position that time to make a tackle further upfield, but they just missed that tackle. And we talked about that at the beginning of the game. You got to make your tackles against these guys. They're big, they're strong runners, but they can be brought down.
First and goal from the 2. And Holliston has to take a timeout with 2:11 to go in the first quarter. Panthers lead the Trojans, the Dragons, 7-0. All right, Duxbury with the first and goal from the 2-yard line as they've driven from their own 21. Festa with Barlow in the backfield. Festa takes it himself, and he's in for a touchdown, Duxbury. Matt Festa with his 9th touchdown of the season.
Well, you kind of figured he was going to get the ball, and the ball's going to stay in his hand, and he's going to score.
The kick for the extra point attempt is up and good. So with 2:07 to go in this first quarter, both teams on the board, and we're tied at 7.
Well, one thing Coach Kiley had talked about is he didn't want to get into the shootout with these guys going back and forth. And, you know, not saying that that's what's going to happen here, but it kind of looks that way. And you don't want to get in the shootout, but if you do, you're going to have to keep up with them. And it looks like Holliston might be able to do that with the passing game. The other thing is here, too, I'm interested to see on the kickoff what Duxbury does with the kickoff. If they get it back down to Dennison and who else is down there? Cooper Olsen. So if they get it down there, but see if they kick it away from Dennison. If they kick it to him, you know, Dennison has the speed and the capability, and so does Cooper, have the speed to get around the end and make some yardage.
Here comes the Duxbury kickoff. Line drive up the middle, bounces to Olsen. Olsen hands off to Dennison. Dennison breaks up the right sideline. Nice block. Just the kicker pushes him out of bounds. So a touchdown saving tackle by number 3, Trevor Jones. But a great return by Andrew Dennison.
Yeah, good job. Well established play. And in fact, if that ball was handed off, if that ball was kicked a little bit more to the center of the field and they pulled that off, he would have gone all the way. The only thing that really stopped him was that the sideline was so close to the tackler there. But great job, great run. And the other thing is, Tom, great blocking by that Holliston return team, because a lot of times when you do things like that, that's when you get those blocks in the back, and Holliston didn't do it.
So the ball's at the Duxbury 38-yard line. Great field position for the Panthers.
This is, again, one of those spots you really want to take advantage of.
3 receivers to Kiley's left. He's looking to pass.
Let's see if this is too much time.
Offside, Duxbury.
Offsides against Duxbury.
Oh, nice. 1:57 left to go in the first quarter.
So 1st and 5 from the 33.
Now that opens up a lot of stuff. Now you can do some of the stuff you might not have done. He'll probably change the play in this situation.
Sweeney, Gentile, and Dennison to the left. Kiley dumps a little center screen to Devin Harding, number 3. Gets a nice block from Pierce Alachi. And he's down inside the
Fumble,
10.
a touchdown!
Fumble, touchdown, Panthers!
Maybe they're gonna call this maybe a forward pass. Maybe. Let's see, they got a flag on the play. Let's see if it was a forward.
Harding had worked his way down to the 5.
And I think what happened was, I think that was a fumble, to be honest with you. It looked like it popped up in the air.
Illegal forward pass was the indication. So Harding did have the ball down to the 5.
Yeah, legal forward pass.
Alachi did have a touchdown, but it's taken off the board. So they marked the ball at the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for Holliston.
That will negate the touchdown, but it's still a first down for the Panthers.
But again, nice call, and because they had that 1st and 5 instead of 1st and 10, they were able to do that little screen. And boy, you see how Devin Harding follows his blockers. He does a great job of following his blockers and exploding right out of the block. .143 left to go in the first quarter.
So 3 receivers swing around to the right side of TJ Kiley. McCarron, the tight end, goes to the left of the formation. Kiley to Harding on 1st down. He's tripped up right at the line of scrimmage.
Tripped up by number 56, Brent Watts. 2nd down.
So 2nd down and 9. 2nd and goal from the 9.
I'd like to see if this is probably a passing situation, these next 3 downs.
Well, they've had so much success with the pass.
And you know the other thing is too, with these receivers, you can get the ball to them on a very short pass, and they can do the rest of it. You don't have to put the ball in the end zone.
Kiley to throw, goes to the corner of the end zone. Incomplete.
A lot of contact from that Duxbury defensive back there.
So intended for Brady Sweeney in the corner of the end zone, brings up 3rd down and goal from the 9.
Yeah, that's one of those fade passes. But the thing is, you don't have to throw the ball that far because Brady is open very quickly. If you can get him or Dennison the ball very quickly, they're going to be open and be able to walk into the end zone. And one of the reasons you might be able to do it this time is because those defensive backs are going to be looking a little bit deeper. This is where a lot of times I like to see TJ kind of roll out.
10 seconds left on the play clock. 5 seconds left on the play clock. And that's too much time.
Yeah, that's a problem. You can't. You got to kind of know what you're going to do, and right now you should know what you're going to do again, and get right out there and do it quickly. The one thing, though, interestingly enough, it gives them a little more space to operate in down there.
So 1st and goal, or 3rd and goal from the 14. Kiley to throw. Across the middle, number 6, touchdown, Panthers! Andrew Dennison with the touchdown.
Tom, what they're doing is Holliston is sending both Sweeney and Dennison off to one side. And what Duxbury is doing in response to that is they're just putting 2 defensive backs out there to try and cover them man-to-man. That's not going to work. Holliston they'll have all day with either Dennison or Sweeney out there if they keep doing that.
McElliott's kick is up and good. So with 39 seconds left in the first quarter, the Panthers lead is 14-7 over Duxbury.
And you know what happens in games like this? You know, you come out and you hear a lot about the opponent, the other guy, and you know, maybe it gets in your head a little bit and this and that. And now you're saying, wait a minute, we can score on these guys, you know, and we can do that. And then you start building up your own momentum, and you get going, and you feel, you know, confident in yourself, and it makes a big difference. Those are 2 big touchdowns for Holliston this early in the game.
Pair of touchdown passes by T.J. Kiley, a pair of 14-yarders to both of his best receivers, Sweeney and Dennison. And it was all set up by a return by Andrew Dennison, who coming into this game was over 2,000 all-purpose yards and 13 touchdowns. Well, now he's got 14 touchdowns with the Panthers.
He and Sweeney, like I keep saying, they're not going to be able to cover them. Not one-on-one anyway. And now it's up again to the special team and the defense to see if they can hold them and so they can get at least a 2 or 3 possession lead here.
Oshevsky's kick bounces around. First guy didn't get it. Second one pushed out of bounds just over the 25-yard line, maybe to the 27. So 35 seconds left to go in the first quarter. And Duxbury will start their 3rd offensive drive.
And, you know, Duxbury is a team, they have a lot of experience, and they've been, as I said, in the Super Bowl last year. They are not going to panic. So if people think that's going to happen, that's not going to happen. They know how strong their offense is, and they have a lot of confidence in their offense too.
Ball's at the 28-yard line for Duxbury, 1st and 10. Festa to throw on 1st down. He dumps it off to Barlow. Pushed out of bounds by Dennison and Sweeney.
Boy, he's a big boy, Barlow, and you know he gets going and he gets those legs up and running, and he's going to be a tough one to tackle.
So 2nd and 3 for the Dragons.
Tackle was number 51.
And Festa's going to take it himself on 2nd down. He's dragged a couple of Panthers close to midfield for a 1st down.
You see, as a runner, what Festa does a lot, he's always moving forward. You never see him move laterally. He seems to always keep moving forward, and that helps him pick up yardage every time he runs the ball.
So 1st down and 10 from the 47. Here's the fake on the jet play. Wow,
nice
big
shot.
hit by number 4, Cooper Olson. Brought Festa down.
That'll do it for the first quarter.
And after 1, the Panthers lead the Dragons 14-7. We'll be back with second quarter action in just a moment. Okay. 2nd down and 8 for Duxbury at their own 49-yard line as we start the second quarter. Matt Festa is going to roll out right. Nice job by Joey Gentile, who turned it back in and right into the arms of Badenkoff and Villa and Oshevsky.
Yeah, and I can't tell. It seems like Joey Gentile is all around wherever Festa is, so I'm not sure if they're running him kind of as a spy or if they're just kind of running him so he won't let Festa get to the outside. But like I said earlier, you know, Festa really, he makes his money going up the middle a lot of times, between the tackles too. It's not necessarily going outside. That's a good way to shut him down there and force a 3rd and long.
3rd and 7.
And this is where you're going to come in and put some pressure.
From midfield. Festa to throw on 3rd down. Fires it across the middle to number 5. Captain Chris Walsh with the catch.
Well, that's
down
what,
to the 34.
that's
Sorry.
one thing he that's one thing he can do. He is so accurate, and you don't need to give him a big window. He can throw it in a small window. He can throw it. I've seen him throw it into double coverage and just hit his man perfectly. He's really a special quarterback.
And Matt Festa started out 5 of 6 for 77 yards.
Festa takes it himself on first down. Dragonoshevsky across the 30.
Two, Matt Festa taken down by number 8. Zach Krasuski got it right that time. Second down.
Second down and 5 from the 30, or second and 4 from the 30, the 29. Festa hands it off to
Nice
Barlow.
job. Nice job.
Slipped out of the arms, but the Panthers back him up.
Number 1, Alex Barlow, fighting off tacklers.
So he maybe lost a yard on that play.
Panthers come in there and stop us in the back.
OZ finished him off.
Zakshevsky came into this game as the number 1 tackler on the Panthers with 34 tackles, 2 sacks, and 9 tackles for loss.
And once again, you're in a position here. You got to see if you can put some pressure on him, like someone like C.J. Pacheco or someone.
3rd and 6, Festa to throw. Fires it across the middle.
Big crowd by number 6.
Colin Quinlan with the diving catch.
Dragons.
Well, that just shows you when Festa is even off the mark a little bit, they have receivers that can go out there and get it.
Ball's down to the 18-yard line of the Panthers. 1st and 10 for Duxbury. Festa empties the backfield, throws it to Barlow in the flat. Brady Sweeney came up and smothered number 1 for a
Ooh,
loss.
Yeah, and that ball almost went off of Barlow's hands and could have ended up in as a Panther possession, but he was able to put it away. Get set-
Loss of 3. He'll bring up 2nd down and 13. Festa to throw. Rolls right, throws off his back heel low. I don't know, let's see what they're going to call
Calling
it.
it a catch.
And they gave the catch to number 16, Adam Barr.
Yeah, Holliston was close there. I think if the Holliston defender put his hands up, that might have disturbed the pass just enough to make it go a little bit awry.
So that leaves 3rd and 4 for the Dragons with the ball on the 12. Festa hands off to Barlow. He barrels up the middle. And touchdown for Duxbury.
Number 1, Alex Barlow.
Well, that's the kind of match that you expect out of Duxbury, just taking the ball and going right downfield. This is a team that scored 62 points in their last game against Middleborough. So they can put points up on the board just like Holliston can.
Will Savory for attempt the extra point. His kick is good. So with 8:23 to go in the first half, the score is tied at 14.
All tied up at 14.
Well,
Adam Barlow, that was his 14th touchdown of the season for the Dragons.
he's big too. He's 190 pounds, and as I said earlier, he's going to be tough to bring down. He's big, with the big thighs those runners have, those big strong runners have, and he does a good job. I think he's bigger than a lot of the offensive linemen, as a matter of fact. He seems that way anyway.
So back and forth game so far in the first half.
Now let's see if they shorten this kick up. Ball's off the tee, so he's got to tee it up again. Maybe have somebody hold it here. Like I said, it's a little bit windy. Not extraordinarily windy, but it is a wind, and it gusts a little bit at times.
Olsen and Dennison back deep for Holliston. The kick goes to Olsen, off his hands and into the end zone.
Yep, that's
The
a touchback.
Panthers will start at the 20-yard line.
See that just little bit of wind there helped that kick propel to get it. You got it up in the air enough that it pushed it a little deeper than and Cooper thought it was going to come down.
Holliston will take it at the 20-yard line.
So Tom and Lois, I mean, you know, we talked earlier that Coach Kiley didn't really want to get into a shootout here, but he looks like that may be what's coming. And if it is, well, you know what? He'll take it.
Take it one play at a time.
Panthers with 83 yards of total offense so far in this game. Duxbury 178.
First down. Handoff to Devin Harding.
Yeah, and there's a holding penalty, so this is going to put Holliston in a little hole.
We do have some laundry on the field.
I think it's against Duxbury.
Boy, they're pushing against Duxbury, yeah. I thought it was a, let's see.
Maybe a face mask?
Personal foul.
Hands to
Oh,
the face.
Wow. Good job. All right. We'll take it. It was thrown down in the area with his 90% of the time it's called for holding. But with 8:10 left to go in the first half, Holliston gets some more yardage. You know, Carlos, you were talking about the Holliston yardage. There was about 100 yards difference almost between these two offenses, but the penalties in the penalties have killed Duxbury in the fumbles.
Yeah, 4 penalties for 42 yards.
So 1st and 10 from their own 38-yard line. Panthers on the end around to Dennison. And he's wrapped up by the Duxbury Dragons. I'd say they dragged that one out pretty good.
Yeah, I get it.
No gain, it'll be second down, 2nd and 10.
So no gain on the play, 2nd down and 10 for Holliston.
Dylan DeAngelis there on number 7 there on the tackle, and he's a pretty good ball player. He's a good defender.
Kiley rolls out on 2nd down, sets up,
Wide
throws,
open.
incomplete to Brady Sweeney, number 11 for the 1st down, just past midfield.
I think we've talked about this a lot, and I keep mentioning how I just love when TJ goes to his left, when he rolls to his left, that for some reason there always seems to be guys open over there, and he does a nice job of getting them the ball.
Timeout Duxbury with 6:57 to go in the first half. We'll be back in a moment. All right, coming out of the timeout by Duxbury. Holliston's going to have a 1st and 10 from the Duxbury 47.
Oh, there's a missing. Oh, yeah, there it is. Take
TJ
advantage.
Kiley down the
Oh,
middle.
oh, he didn't.
Oh, and a big hit.
Wow.
That
Pass incomplete, it'll be second down.
They kind of missed it. The coverage over here to the
right.
our side was all messed up, and Holliston had one guy that was uncovered and another guy that was a little bit open also, and they just missed it going down the center of the field.
Well, we get a second, guys. Let's give a shout out to the girls cross country team, back-to-back state champs.
Yeah, they are sensational.
and their number 1 runner finished 1st place. Carmen Luisa for the 2nd year in a row. Congratulations to the girls cross country team. 2nd down and 10 for the Panthers. Kiley to throw.
Nice catch.
Joey Gentile down at the 40.
Yeah, he's got that.
Was able to keep it off the carpet.
Pass was completed to number 9, Joey Gentile. Stopped by number 17, Finn Carley. 3rd down.
Third down here in 4th down territory for Holliston. And I've been noticing that TJ's getting some good blocking from that offensive line. They're doing a pretty good job out there, keeping them kind of clean.
So 3rd and 3 for the Panthers from the Duxbury 40-yard line. Kiley to throw again, rolls to the left. Complete to number 11. Big target out there, Brady Sweeney.
The thing about Sweeney is, and you are absolutely right, Tom, he is a big target, but the other thing is he's a very aggressive receiver. That means he's going to go after the ball. He doesn't like to wait around for the other guy to make a move on it. And he gets a lot of those 50-50 balls where, it's anybody's ball. He comes down with it, and we've seen him do that both on offense and on defense.
So it'll be 1st and 10 Holliston from the Duxbury 31.
5:37 and rolling in the clock in the first half.
Kiley to Harding on 1st down.
Duxbury's done a good job so far of clogging up those running lanes down the middle.
Yeah, good point. They clog them up, but what it can do is that if you can kick out to the outside, they're closing in really fast from the sides and going to the ball. So kicking out from the outside, or if you have some kind of a misdirection play, they might get caught in the middle and give you some room to the outside.
So 2nd down and 9 for Holliston. Ball's at the 30-yard line. Sweeney and Dennison stacked to the right of the formation. Gentile in motion. Kiley to throw. TJ steps up. Takes it himself for a few yards.
Quarterback carry number 13, TJ Kiley, taken down by number 7, Dylan DeAngelis.
DeAngelis again on the tackle there from TJ.
So it'll be 3rd down and about 5. Ball at the 27-yard line.
Yeah, on this position in the field, and this down in yardage, Tom, the whole playbook's there, and you can kind of do whatever you want because you're going on 4th down. The only thing you don't want to do is lose any yardage, obviously, but you want to get the ball, move it forward, hopefully get the 1st down, but you can throw, you can run, you do whatever you want. Holliston takes a timeout.
Timeout Holliston with 3:54 to go in the first half. Tied up with Duxbury, 14-14. We'll be back in a moment. All right, out of the timeout by Holliston. 3rd down and a long 5. Ball at the 27-yard line. McCarron and Dennison come to the wide side of the field.
I like this with McCarron out here. He can come across the field and be open.
Gentile and Sweeney to the left of the formation. Kiley to throw, rolls right, tosses it to McCarron. Incomplete, brings up 4th down.
Yeah, that was just a little bit. I mean, he kind of threw it to the outside to Owen McCarron. If he threw it to the inside, he would have had that pass completed, and Owen would have probably had a 1st down.
It was also a really good play by Brendan Bonner from Duxbury to go one-on-one with McCarron there.
It's one of the Duxbury captains.
So that's a big 4th down. The way this game's going and the way that they're going back and forth and both scoring, you want to keep this drive going. It's really important.
Dennison swings around to the left side of the formation.
Panthers are 12 for 22 on 4th downs this year, 54%.
Kiley to throw. Intercepted. Well, you almost want to knock that down for the yardage, but needless to say, intercepted, and the ball turns over on downs or on the turnover to Duxbury.
So now you're in a situation, Tom, where you really want to make them stretch for this. You don't want to give up any big plays. You want to keep it if they have to, either to run out the clock or whatever, but you really don't want them to score quickly here.
First and 10 for Duxbury, the ball on their own 15-yard line. Festa with Quinlan in motion.
Nice job.
Great tackle.
Great tackle there by number 4, Joey Gentile, number 9.
Yeah, I really do think he's looking at him. I think that's what's happening here, and that's good. They picked the right guy too, because Joey Gentile's a big guy, very athletic, very fast, and he'd have the capability to take care of Festa.
Yeah, you can tell they've been coaching them to tackle low, get under Festa, because they're not going to tackle him with your shoulder.
Exactly.
2nd and 8 for Duxbury. Festa to throw, looks down the field. Over the top to Walsh. And he's got it into Panther territory, down to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, what you want to do in a situation like this is you want to keep your safeties deep. You want to tell your safeties, don't get beat by anybody. Don't let anybody behind you. And he was able to get behind the Holliston safeties and get in there and get a nice catch and a first down. Nice throw, too.
So 1st and 10 from the 37. Festa hands off to Barlow.
Oh,
Nothing
Nice
there.
hit.
Dave Harding.
David Villa, number
Dave-
51, and Joey Gentile, number 9, I saw there.
Dave Harding, wow. Dave Villa. Right.
Gain of just 1. 2nd down and 9 for Duxbury. Festa to throw. Looks left. Fires out to the flat. Caught by Quinlan.
That was a 3rd down. I think Quinlan probably would like to have, even though he did stop the clock, would have liked to maybe have gone about 3 or 4 yards further down the field to get the first down.
Clock stop with 2:13 to go in the half. 3rd down and 4. Ball on the ground.
Holliston's
Big
got it.
Holliston ball as Cooper Olson was on it.
Absolutely Holliston ball. They're not going to let them. Yeah, there you
And
go.
Holliston's got it. Another turnover for the Panthers. The Red Sea section is ecstatic.
And now with 2:09 left to go in this quarter, or in the half, you want to get this ball downfield and you want to score because you get the kickoff and you can get one of those double back-to-back scores here.
The Belichick double.
I think Holliston's out of timeouts in this half. They've already used 3 by my count.
Holliston's 2nd fumble recovery of the day, the first on the muffed punt
And
earlier in the half.
And there was just a mix-up in the handoff. Must have been low.
Yeah,
or-
it was a low handoff, and Festa had it down low, and Barlow went to get it, and it just stepped out of his hands. We can go now. TJ can go to his left here, and they saw it. Oh no, too much time. Delay of game.
Now, how does that happen?
Well,
Do they
Holliston.
tell you when they start the play clock?
Well, Holliston's got to be set quicker. You got to be set quicker. You got to come out of that quicker with the play call. But I was going to say, watch to the left here because TJ can roll left on this play.
1st and 15 from the 40. Quarterback draw.
That's. No, I'm not even going to try and guess what that flag's for.
It's in the area of holding, yeah.
Holding against Holliston.
Yeah, you might consider declining it, take the loss and the down, and they do.
Yep.
Let's see what Coach Landolfi does.
He did decline it.
So the clock is running with 2 minutes, and the Duxbury takes a timeout with 1:59 to go in the first half. 14-14 is your score. All right, 2nd and 21 for Holliston as they're backed up to their own 24. Hand off to Harding. And Duxbury's going to take another timeout. So that'll stop the clock with 1:50. We'll be back in a moment. All right, 3rd and 23 from the 22. See what Coach Kiley has dialed up right here.
That's offside. Offside.
Picked up a free 5 yards.
Yep.
Great crowd down here at Bridgewater Raynham High School. They treated us very nicely.
Yeah, they're fabulous down here. They were very, very nice to us.
We're Derbs in the press box.
I know.
They really
did.
Charcuterie
Game, yeah.
board. That was wonderful.
Don't tell Bruce.
All right, 3rd and 18 from the 27. Kiley to throw. Rolls to his left. And number 3, David Harding, is hit as soon as he catches the ball for a short gain.
The stopping the clock here. What?
Well, the refs are talking about this.
Legal man downfield.
They'll decline this.
So they do decline the penalty. Although last week we saw him decline the penalty and then take the penalty.
Yeah.
So 4th down for the Panthers from their own 30-yard line. Minute 39 on the clock.
Clock starts up now. So Holliston can wait and let the clock run down.
Important special teams play right here as the clock gets down to 1:20.
High snap.
Kiley with the punt,
Oh,
gets off the side of his foot, but does take a Panther bounce.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it, yeah.
Gets all the way to midfield, and it'll stop the clock with 1:03 to play here in the first half. Now, as far as Duxbury, it appears they have no timeouts because they've used their third.
No, they'll have no timeouts. They would have stopped the clock if they did last time, on the last play. Nothing deep. Keep everything in front of you.
So 1st and 10, Dragons from the 50-yard line. Festa with an empty backfield is going to pass. Now he dumps it off. Complete to Chris Walsh. That took 7 seconds to run that play. 56 seconds on the clock. 2nd down and 1.
Now the clock will stop on a 1st down here, so if they want to run, they certainly have the time to do it. So Hollis is going to be able to defend both the pass and the run here.
Empty backfield again for Duxbury. Festa to throw. Tosses it out to Barlow. He's got the 1st down. Now the clock stops as they move the sticks, but once they set the ball, it's ready to go.
47
Looks like
seconds.
Duxbury's ready to go. 1st and 10 from the 34. Festa to throw. Fires to his left. Incomplete. That one didn't seem to come out of his hand as well as the other throws he's made today.
And that was Festa's only his 2nd incompletion of the first half. He's 13 of 15 for 177 yards.
That's pretty accurate.
He's very accurate, and he's very good, as we had talked about earlier. And you know, if you can get him, go get him. But it's going to be tough to pick one off of him.
2nd and 10, 37 seconds. Festa fires, complete to Chris Walsh.
Keep him in bounds.
But he stays in bounds.
No.
No, they did get out of bounds. They wave off the clock. So it stops with 28 seconds. Boy, Walsh was really fighting to get out.
Those are the little things, you know, you don't see in a score, in a box score or anything, but boy, they make all the difference in the world.
What are they saying to Kiley?
I don't know.
Well, no play. The referees weren't even looking. Half the. Well, that's unusual. They were trying to. explain something to Kylie, Coach Kylie.
Well, I think what he might have thought was forward progress had ended, and they probably should have stopped the
Right,
play
inbounds.
and kept the clock going. I think that maybe that's what he's concerned with.
So the ball's at the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. Festa to fire, throws to the corner of the end zone.
Nice play.
Knocked away.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, remember, this is only a 15-yard penalty. It will be a first down here, although it's
Knocked
not.
away by Givens, but he got called for having a hand on the receiver.
So this will be half the distance to the goal. It's not an automatic first down, but it will be a first down here because it was third and short. And you know, you tend to wonder in a situation like this, if he's thrown into the end zone and you can't do anything with it, keep making those.
Half the distance of the goal line.
Yeah, keep doing that. You know,
If it was only that easy, Jay.
I know. I did see him get intercepted in the end zone by Foxborough at the end of the first half too, just in a situation kind of like this.
Well, he's got 2 ball hawks on the Panther defense he's going against. Sweeney and Dennison, 5 interceptions each. So 1st and 10 from the 13 for Duxbury. Festa looks down the middle, is going to take it himself. Cooper Olson makes the tackle at the 10. Now they're going to really fight as the clock is running with 13 seconds to go. 2nd down, Festa just puts it down on the ground and stops the clock with 7 seconds to go. Duxbury out of timeouts, and that brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, false start, so it's going to move it back another 5 yards.
So Duxbury was not set on that play. So they marked that off to the 14-yard line.
They're going to run off the clock too?
3 seconds they put the clock in motion. Festa to throw. Intercept. Oh, Brady Sweeney knocked it away, but he almost had a pick. And that's the end of the first half. An exciting one here at Bridgewater Raynham High School in the Division IV semifinals. 14 Panthers, 14 for the Duxbury Dragons. We'll be back with second half action in just a few moments. Okay, now Los with the halftime lowdown.
Thank you very much, Tom. The score at halftime, it's all tied up 14-14 between the Panthers and the Dragons. Wow, what can you say? Just a tremendous first half from both of these teams. Duxbury leading in overall yardage, 261 to 121. About all of that offensive yardage is accounted for by Matt Festa. He has 14. He's 14 of 17 for 186 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. But he also has 47 yards rushing the ball, including a rushing touchdown. Alex Barlow also has 24 yards and a touchdown as well. For the Holliston side, quarterback TJ Kiley, 10 of 15 for 112 yards. And 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Leading rusher is Devin Harding. He's got 6 carries for 7 yards. And then the leading receivers, Brady Sweeney has 4 catches for 49 yards, including a touchdown. Andrew Dennison with the other touchdown for Holliston in that first half. He's got 14 yards. And then Devin Harding has 3 catches for 35 yards as well. Defensively for the Panthers, Owen Zakshevsky is leading all tacklers with 6. That includes 2 tackles for loss for Big OZ. Brady Sweeney checking in with 5 tackles, including 1 for a loss. And then Andrew Dennison, Joey Gentile, Lucas Badenkoff, and Cooper Olson all coming in with 4 tackles apiece as well. We've got 2 big pass breakups in this game, one from Brady Sweeney and one from Andrew Dennison. And then 2 big turnovers, both of them fumble recoveries. First was a muffed punt that was recovered by Cooper Olson in the first half. And then the second one, excuse me, I want to make sure I get this right, was from Jack Schelling. He recovered a fumble as well. So for more stats and information on the Holliston Panthers, you can follow us on Twitter at HCatFootball, and that's the lowdown.
Thank you, Los. Teams are back out on the field for the second half. 2 touchdowns from TJ Kiley, one to Brady Sweeney and one to Andrew Dennison, both 14-yarders. The 2 scores for the Panthers. Jack McElliott's extra points are both good. And the big pass breakup just as the clock ran out on the first half. A big play by Brady Sweeney.
Well, this is a team now you come out and this is kind of where the coaching kind of takes over a little bit. I mean, your players are out there and all of that, but the scheme and the what you're going to do and I think I'm looking for the Duxbury. Obviously, they're going to keep the ball in Fester's hands, and why not? You know, you got that big horse, you ride him. I'm kind of looking for a little bit more out of Andrew Dennison in this half, and let's see if they can get the ball in his hands a few times so he can use his speed. But Dennison and Sweeney are both getting open, and I did notice a little bit that if they're on the same side now, they're kind of moving a third defender back there with one of the safeties. So that's one thing you can watch. And if they do that, then maybe it will open up Owen McCarron. But I will say one thing that, a lot of people kind of wondered about in this game, and a lot of people kind of thought, well, you're going to come in here and you're playing a really great team, and you are. Duxbury's a really great team. But right now, Holliston can sit there and say, we belong. We really belong, and maybe even more than belong here. Maybe it's our time to shine. So we'll see how this plays out. But Holliston's going to receive the kickoff, and that's going to open up the play in the second half.
Well, you talked about coaching strategy, and this might be a little bit of coaching strategy that backfired on Coach Landolfi. He chose to get his offense on the field first in the first half and kick off to Holliston in the second half, but I don't think he envisioned it to be a tie game and he'd be kicking off to the Panthers right now.
Well, he has an explosive and powerful offense, and you want to get your best team to receive the kick. So you're right. I'm certainly not going to disagree with what you said, but in his defense a little bit, it's like he said, well, if I can get in and get the lead here, make Holliston play from behind. That didn't work out.
Duxbury has had five offensive drives, 2 touchdowns. One ended on a turnover and they had to punt, and one turnover, and then the half ran out on them.
Short
Olsen
kick.
on the half bounce.
Well, see, they're thinking kind of the same way we did. They do not want Holliston to get Dennison to get his hands on the ball because he's just so explosive, and they really don't have an answer for him. And quite frankly, they didn't have an answer for Brady Sweeney either. Brady is looking real good, so not sure what Holliston wants to do here. You really got to kind of, in a sense too, Tom and Carlos, you got to establish the run a little bit. You can't just come out here and start winging the ball all over the place. So see how Holliston does this.
Only 9 yards rushing in the first half for Holliston.
Yeah.
1st and 10 from the 30 for the Panthers. 3 receivers to Kiley's right. Hands off to Harding on 1st down. He bounces and spins. Gain of 1.
And see, attacking that middle, and you had mentioned it earlier, Carlos, how the defense is doing a really nice job collapsing to the middle and attacking that middle. It's going to be tough. So if you're going to run, you probably have to get it outside the tackles at least.
Actually give no gain on that play. 2nd down and 10 for Holliston. Kiley rolls right, throws out in the flat, caught by McCarron.
Catch by number 2, Owen McCarron.
You know what happens is, these all the coaches, they exchange film, and everybody sees that and sees what's going on. But McCarron, and this is something I've talked about in the past, I really like when they use him because pretty much it's all he does is score touchdowns, and he's always making the big catch and everything, and he's the one guy that kind of gets overlooked a little bit in the situation for a defense.
So important third down for Holliston, 3rd and 5. Kylie rolls left, big rush by Duxbury. Tried to get it to McCarron, but that was going to be short of a first down.
Yeah, there's going to be a holding here on Holliston. I'm sure it's probably going to be declined because they'll get the ball back on the punt. Let's see if Duxbury declines this.
Holding Holliston.
Oh, they're going to accept it. Interesting.
Well, you get that. Theoretically, if Holliston has to punt, you get that yardage.
Yeah, but it, also theoretically, if a Holliston player catches a pass and takes off down the field, you're going to wish that you punted.
Well, you don't put that in your list of things that can happen.
Oh, okay. Here we go again. Holliston's
going to have to take a timeout.
Cut
They got the snap off. Throw down the middle. Intercepted at the 40-yard line. So it's just like a short punt.
Yeah, it worked out anyway for Coach Landolfi, so I guess it's a good call by him.
Holliston was short on time right then. Snapped it right at the 0 mark. I like this referee. He puts his hand straight up for 10 seconds.
Then down.
He puts it parallel to the ground for 5 seconds. And then he pretends to bring his hand up to get the whistle when he's down to 3, 2, 1. First down and 10 for Duxbury. Festa takes it himself. Tripped up by the Panthers. Olsen in there on the tackle.
Festa comes up a little gingerly.
Yeah, his own man fell on him there, as a matter of fact. It wasn't a Holliston player.
So 2nd down and 7 for the Dragons. Handoff to Barlow. He barrels his way across the 35 to the 37, or the 32.
It's going to be 3rd down, 3rd and 2.
3rd and 2 from the 32. Duxbury moving quickly. Go to Barlow again. Looks like he's got enough to move the chains. And it is another first down, Dragons.
Clock moving with just a couple seconds over 9 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter.
So 3 straight runs and another Duxbury first down. Festa to throw.
Got him. Oh, they had him. Oh,
Festa was going to throw. Looked like they were going to sack him. Takes it himself.
51,
David Villa with the tackle.
I didn't see who got in there, but even though they didn't tackle him, what they did is they went in with both hands up, and that made Festa have to pull the ball down and run.
So 2nd down and 10 from the 29. Festa takes it himself. Jumps over the pile. Jack Schelling stays with him. Picks up 3. 3rd down and 7. Ball's at the 27-yard line. Duxbury still moving at a breakneck speed. Handoff this time to Quinlan, or to Walsh, number 5, and he's got enough for the first down, out of bounds.
That was one of the few times when Holliston had let the Holliston player, let the Duxbury player get to the outside, get the runner get to the outside. You really got to prevent that.
So ball's on the 17-yard line, 1st and 10 for Duxbury. Festa takes it himself, finds a room in the middle of the defense. Touchdown, Duxbury.
Festa into the end zone. Touchdown. Dragons.
So Duxbury kicked off to the Panthers. Panthers couldn't do anything with it. And Duxbury, on their first possession of the second half, unties this ball game.
7:39 left to go in the third quarter.
We do have a flag on the play.
Not
So
quite-
that's the second touchdown of the day for Matt Festa.
illegal unsportsmanlike conduct against Duxbury. Maybe one of those jibber jabber things, you know,
Yeah.
down there and stop bragging about what you just did. Might be, I don't know. Touchdown is good.
That's an important penalty.
Let's see if they'll.
Is he going to take it on the kickoff?
I hope they would take it on the kickoff.
Well, I was saying take it on this extra point and make it a 35-yarder. Extra point is up and good.
PAT is good. What's the score with
So with 7:39 to go in the third quarter, it's 21-14. Duxbury, as they've scored back-to-back touchdowns.
Yeah, that's what you didn't want to do. We had mentioned about how Coach Kiley didn't want to get in the shootout here, and it really kind of wasn't. You know, it just kind of went back and forth a couple times each. But what you got to be careful with in a situation like this is getting one of those two-possession advantages. So Holliston's going to have to come down here and score. And the other thing is, too, I'm beginning to wonder if Holliston comes down and score, will they go for two? Put a little more pressure on Duxbury, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But they got to score first. So here's the penalty being assessed. They'll be kicking from the 25, I believe. Yep.
Which will give good field position for the Panthers if they get a good return here.
See, and you were right, Tom, about taking the penalty on the kick, and he wouldn't have made wouldn't have made the kick. But I think the thought is that would be 1 point. This might give them Holliston a shot at 7.
Back to receive the kick, Olson and Dennison.
Ball comes off the tee. They've been kicking away from Dennison all day.
Shadows are starting to fall on the field and made it tough looking into the sun this way. Kick is low. Dennison picks it up on a bounce at the 20.
Oh,
And he
boy.
squirts forward passes the 30-yard line. So it made something out of nothing.
Well, I think what you got to do now is you really got to watch that defensive backfield and how the safeties are going to be playing. If they're going to play the corners one-on-one or the safeties one-on-one with our receivers, you're going to have to throw the ball. Because right now, unless you get the ball to the outside, you're not going to make much yardage up the middle.
So they put the ball at the 31-yard line for Holliston. 10 seconds on the play clock, but the Panthers are ready. Kiley to Harding. Harding breaks through the line for the first time today.
Yeah, nice job. You get outside that left tackle, and McCarron threw a nice block. They're able to get a big running play. The other thing, Tom, I think what I might do at one point is put Sweeney in at tight end and move McCarron out to the outside and watch what they do with the coverage.
2nd down and 4. Ball's at the 38-yard line. All the receivers to the left. Kiley hands off to Harding. The Duxbury sniffed that one out pretty well.
Yeah, that's tough trying to stay inside there, inside those tackles.
Third down.
Going to be 3rd and 3.
Panthers have 3rd and 4.
Ball's right in the middle of the field, so Holliston can play either side of the field, either the left or the right, whichever they think their strength is on.
Kiley fakes to Harding, back to Harding. He's got the first down.
Nicely done on the screen. The Holliston.
Well covered.
Harding, first down, Panthers.
What Holliston did there, though, the Holliston linemen played that perfectly. They kind of chipped those 3 guys, and they all came right in. They thought they were going to get to TJ, and he was able to flip the ball over to Harding, where Harding was able to get the first down.
So first down at the 44-yard line for Holliston. 5:43 in the clock running here in the 3rd quarter. Fake to Andrew Dennison.
Oh, almost.
Threw a dart over the middle, just out of the reach of Joey Gentile.
That was a well-designed play, and they took the fake too to Dennison.
2nd down and 10 for Holliston.
Not sure if it's still really windy out there. They're going in direction kind of against any wind that was out there, but it's I just heard from Lindsay up on the big camera. It's very windy, so. But Holliston really hasn't tried to go too deep today, and send Dennison deep.
Second down and 10 for Holliston. They're running out of time on the game clock, or the play clock. There's the fake to Sweeney. Down the middle to Gentile. The ball came loose. Now the question is, was it a
call
catch?
It incomplete.
Was
They
it a
called it
catch?
incomplete.
Yep.
It's a bang play. They're going to call it incomplete. Jarring hit that he took.
Third down.
5:13
So
left to
3rd
go.
down and 10 now for Holliston.
Panthers are 3 for 7 on 3rd down today.
At some point, they got to get the ball to either Dennison or Sweeney or somebody on the outside of the field, not down the middle.
Dennison and Sweeney and Gentile to the right. Kiley rolls right. Fires, complete to Sweeney, pushed out of bounds.
Yeah, and they're going to go for it on this one, I'm sure.
It's going to bring up 4th down and very short.
I do think you have to go for this one.
Oh, you have to go.
Yep.
It'll be 9 yards.
You're playing chase with one of the top offenses in the state. Got to try to catch Duxbury at this point.
In 1.
Also, with the way Duxbury can run, you don't know how many more possessions they're going to get.
That's right. They can start the running game, and they can start controlling the clock.
Holliston Panthers 4th and 1 from the 40.
Again, they better get out here. And
There's only 10 seconds. The play clock just went to 10 seconds. Holliston's hustling to the
Might
line.
have to burn one here.
5 seconds.
Snap it. Too late.
oh boy,
Oh, what a time to lose
you
5 yards.
maybe they call a timeout, so they
They
would
got
not
a time.
use the yardage.
Yep.
Okay, well, place timeout with 5:05 to go in the 3rd quarter. Big 4th down and 1 for the Panthers. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, out of the timeout, Panthers to the line. 4th and 1. Ball's at the 47.
This is the Panthers' second 4th down of the afternoon. They did not convert the previous one.
Kiley, hands off to Harding. Spins, can't get out of the grasp. Duxbury gets the ball on downs.
Dragons first to the ball. Number 27, Thomas Sheehan.
So short field for the Dragons now as they hold a 21-14 lead with 4:59 to go in the third quarter. Panthers had to go for it there.
Well, they had to go for it there, and right now they have to let it all out here on defense. They got to do whatever they can to stop Duxbury and get their ball back.
Festa to throw on first down, looks deep, down the field. Almost
Ooh.
picked off as
Nick Larch.
Nick Larch was back there.
Wow, he almost had that ball.
So good defense by the Panthers.
But the other thing is that was kind of on Festa, because if he looped that ball higher, the receiver was
Walsh
behind.
did have a step.
Yeah, they can't let that happen anymore. Holliston has got to play, even if you got to start out a little deeper, if you're not going to hit the man off the line, start out deeper so you don't get beat deep.
Second down and 10. Festa takes it himself. Picks his way. He's interesting how he moved a lot slower that time, sort of finding his way from block to block as he picked up 7 yards.
It'll be third down, 33 for the Duxbury Dragons.
Now 3rd and 3. This is where I would play really tight on these receivers. He's just throwing little short outs to his receivers on these 3rd and shorts.
There he goes again, going to take it himself.
Oh, I don't. Well, looks
He's
like he made it.
close to the 40, and I
they
think he
gave
got
it to
the
him.
first down.
Yep.
That's a first down for the Dragons.
Holliston got in there, but he's a big guy to wrap up. So
Clock
Duxbury
running.
moves the chains.
Clock running. 4:05 left to go.
In the third quarter.
9-yard line.
Festa looking in at Coach Landolfi. I guess he was just trying to slow down the pace. Handoff to Barlow. Barlow barrels up the middle.
Wow.
And he's broken away, and a big touchdown saving tackle by James Gibbons.
Yeah, you gotta grab him and hold on for dear life. You can't throw your body at him. You gotta come down. You gotta grab his legs, and if nothing else, slow him down so somebody else can get there.
Barlow with a big gain makes it 1st and goal for Duxbury.
He is a good runner, though. He's a big boy. He really does a nice job. He
Well,
gets
he's
those,
a sledgehammer. He's
Yeah.
subtle as a sledgehammer.
he gets those knees up high, and he does a nice job of running. Oh, something here, flag.
Let's see what the call is.
I don't see a flag on the field, is there?
Yeah, this might be an official's timeout for something.
3:13 left to go in the third. Not quite sure what that is, and they're certainly not going to share it with us, so we'll just take it from here.
Against Holliston.
With an illegal substitution on
Oh, illegal substitution on Holliston.
Okay.
Oh, half the
So
distance.
they'll move it up to the 1. 1st and goal.
after this, it'll be first at goal from the 1.
Festa to Barlow. Barlow up the middle. Touchdown, Duxbury. So back-to-back touchdowns. That's 3 in a row for the Dragons.
Yeah, that's the problem right there, is that you get that 2-possession lead, and like Carlos, you had mentioned a little bit earlier, they get up and they're going to start running the ball, and they're going to start taking a lot off the clock. So you're going to be in a situation here with, if you're Holliston, you're going to have to have one of your quick strike touchdowns here, get back in this ball game.
No, it's only a 10-yard
lot going on down there, huh? A lot of referees.
Coach Kiley trying to straighten things out with the referees.
Probably asking about Thanksgiving Day plans.
My house or your house this year?
That was Barlow's second touchdown of the day.
Duxbury crowd's getting a little anxious about it.
Extra point attempt.
Extra point kick is up, but
Ooh, did that
low. No
No
good.
good.
Did not make it.
Yeah, so you're saying there is a chance.
So with 2:54 to go in the third quarter, it's now 27-14.
Yeah, they just gave Holliston a sideline warning.
Oh, now they're going to try another
Oh,
the
they're
kick
gonna-
again?
Yeah, it did not count.
Why? Extra point is
No
up.
good, no good.
And
It's good. It's good, yep.
So 28-14. So what they do on that? Did they throw a flag? They let the play go, the kick.
No, they stopped the play before the kick.
All right. All right, 28-14 Duxbury. Well, at the end of the first quarter, Holliston was up 14-7. Looked like the Panthers were ready to show the Dragons who's boss. But Duxbury tied it up just halfway through the second quarter. And now here, a couple of touchdowns here in the third quarter have put the Dragons ahead by 14.
Well, you're going to have to score. And, you know, that's all there is to it. And you're going to have to open up your offense to do it, evidently, because, you know, you can get a few running plays in here and there, but you really got to do something to open up that offense. And, you know, again, like I said, I would, if you can, get it into Dennison or Sweeney's hands.
Duxbury kicks away. Cooper Olson hands it off to Andrew Dennison. Andrew Dennison out of bounds in front of the Panther bench at the 35.
That's a really good play, and how Olsen gets it to Dennison. Of course, you want to get it into his hands, but if you could just give him a little more room to the outside somehow. I'm not quite sure how you do that unless Olsen goes through. The other thing is, hopefully there's no more kickoffs by Duxbury, but if there is, you could fake that handoff because everyone bought into it. They all saw what was happening, and they all went towards Dennison and kind of left Olsen open.
Actually marked the ball at the 32-yard line of the Panthers. So 1st and 10 for Holliston. Kiley to throw on first down.
Oh,
And Devin Harding is hit right after the catch. Loss of 1 on the play.
Stopped quickly by number 27.
That was number 27, Thomas Sheehan, with that hit.
well, Sheehan came in, and he saw exactly what the play was going to develop right in front of him, and he was having none of it. He came in and made a nice tackle for a loss of a yard.
Second down and 11 for Holliston. Kiley to throw. Gets it to Sweeney on the look in, and he buffaloes close to a first down.
That's a good play. That's a play that they've run a lot. A lot of times when they need big yardage too, they're able to run it, and that have resulted in a first down there for Holliston.
Caught that right at the line of scrimmage and worked his way through a lot of Duxbury Dragons.
1:40 left to go in the third.
Stopped by number 7, Dylan DeAngelis.
So ball's at the 43-yard line. Kiley to throw again. Chased out of the, and Holliston, big scramble for the ball.
Yeah, I think Duxbury has that. They
and
do.
Duxbury ended up with it. So turnover for the Panthers. So when they had to come up with a big play to move the chains again, Holliston turns the ball over, unfortunately.
Henry Bicknell. Bicknell also recovered the fumble. It'll be
Well,
first and
you got to get out there now. You just have to stop them, because if they get this, it's going to be almost impossible to come back from. If you've got blitzes, if you've got anything, you got to throw them at them now.
Handoff to Quinlan.
There you go, nice tackle.
Tackled by Sweeney and Oshevsky.
Bicknell on the fumble recovery. First and 10 for the Duxbury. Carry was by number 6.
Second down and 8.
That was a Bicknell on that fumble recovery by Duxbury, by the way. I wonder if he's any relation.
Official timeout on the field.
So we got a timeout on the field, and we'll take a break as well. All right, good to see Jack Schelling walk out off the field on his own power. Panthers have a second down, or Duxbury has a second down and 8 from the 23-yard line. 47 seconds left in the third quarter. See if the Panthers can make a play. Oh,
Ooh.
Big hit!
Oh, and he got the ball off for a
Barlow
touchdown.
got behind the defense for a touchdown. Finally, the blitz comes through and hits Festa, but not before he unloads and makes a touchdown pass to Alex Barlow.
Well, what he did there, Festa, and this is why, he's so good. He's so big. What he did, he just stood there, and he knew he was going to get hit. He saw it right in his face, and he just stood there and threw the ball to Barlow, and Barlow was able to finish it off.
So third touchdown of the day for Alex Barlow.
The movement there.
So 5-yard penalty against Duxbury. Extra point attempt.
Good.
He is good. So with 25 seconds to go, 35 seconds to go in the third quarter, it's 35-14 as Duxbury is just busted out here in the third quarter.
Well, that's what they can do. They can do, and if you give them the opportunity, they will do it. And Holliston played that really, really great first half against this team, and very few penalties and very few, the one turnover I guess they had. But now you're in a situation where you. Again, as I said a little bit earlier, what you have to do is you just have to come out and just have to play your game, but it's got to be quick strike. You can't waste a lot of time getting up and down the field, because they will run the ball on you and eat up a lot of the clock.
I mean, this Panther defense been working hard all day to create opportunities for the offense. I mean, if you had told me that Festa's going to throw his first touchdown pass at the end of the third quarter,
I would say it's a good day. Yeah,
that's a good day. You'd take that. Here's a little pop-up kick.
Let it go out. Let it go out. Oh, no.
McCarron grabs it at the 30.
Yeah.
That was a slow roller, though, Jay.
Yeah,
It was going to be a close one.
Holliston Panthers will have first and
So
10 from the 30-yard line.
70 yards away.
So Panthers start at their own 30. We got a full quarter of football still.
There is time, but you have to score quickly. You can't have like 3 or 4 minute drives here. You got to score very fast.
Panthers get out in the field and are ready. Kiley to throw on first down. Drops it off to Brady Sweeney, the outlet. He gets forward for a few yards.
Pushed down by number 1, Alex Barlow.
You know, they're starting to come in and starting to come after
They really are.
TJ now, and they know that they have Holliston has no chance of running, so they're just gonna come. They're just not gonna wait for anything.
2nd down and 8 for Holliston. Kiley to throw to Harding. Harding forward to the 35, picks up another couple of yards. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
That's the end of the quarter.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter. Dragons 35, Panthers 14. We'll be back with 4th quarter action in just a few moments. All right, teams ready to start the 4th quarter. 12 minutes on the clock, 3rd down and 5 for Holliston. Ball in their own 35.
We start the 4th quarter football.
Fake to Dennison, goes deep to Brady Sweeney into triple coverage.
Got it.
And he's got it down to the 30-yard line of Duxbury.
That's what we were talking about when we said, you know, you put the ball up in the air anywhere and he can get it, and this is what Holliston has to do. It's got to be quick strike.
From the 32-yard line.
It seemed like the Dragons knew they were going to go to Sweeney. They had 3 of them
Well,
back there.
That's right.
but-
He was triple covered. He had his corner and both of the safeties back there.
But TJ put it right on the numbers.
TJ
First-
Kiley, 18 of 26 for 180 yards.
1st and 10 for Holliston at the 31.
That's going to be a false start.
And that play did not get started. Somebody offsides.
Holliston moves a little bit too quickly. They'll move the ball back 5 yards. It'll be 1st down all over again.
See, this is what you can't do. You gotta come out here and just come out, get ready, get set, and go. You know, you're eating up a lot of time here. Clock is rolling. 11:10 left to go in the game.
Kiley to throw. Looks right. Plenty of time. Nobody can get open. Has to eat the ball as the Dragons are all over him.
Yeah, normally TJ would be looking downfield and throwing that ball out of bounds and not taking the loss. But he saw something, he wasn't able to react to it quickly enough.
First of the ball, number 7, Dylan DeAngelis. It'll be 2nd down.
But one of the things I did like about that is when he pumped, he was going to go deep, and there was coverage there, and he thought better of it and pull it down, and at least he gets to keep the ball instead of throwing it.
So 2nd and
interception.
20 from the 41. Lights on here at Bridgewater Raynham High School. Kiley steps up, but the rush is too much.
Alex Barlow on the sack.
Little showboating there by Barlow. Well,
Yeah, and that really should have been a flag.
Well, they're just going to start coming. I mean, they've been doing that for the last 2 possessions for Holliston, and they just keep coming, and there's nothing really Holliston can do about it because they're going to come from all angles, and they don't care at all about a running game. Boy, 3rd and a half a mile.
3rd and 20 for Holliston. Kiley to throw. Throws out
Oh,
a little
wow.
screen pass to Harding and a big hit.
Yeah, that might have brought a flag.
Yeah.
Let's see if it did.
Might be unnecessary roughness.
The winner of this game is going to play the winner of Grafton and Foxborough, which was played earlier this morning.
Grafton
won
Yep.
21-12. Holliston played Foxborough earlier this season. Actually, the opening day was down in Foxborough. So after they're going to mark off a penalty.
Yeah, personal foul
Yep,
right to the head.
targeting it.
Blow to the head.
Personal foul, hit to the helmet. Duxbury.
Gives Holliston a more makeable 3rd and 9.
So that's not an automatic first down, huh? Interesting.
Moves the ball up. It'll be 3rd down, 3rd and 9 for Holliston.
I thought personal fouls were automatic first downs, but I guess not in high school.
Kylie to throw, scrambles out of the pocket, fires, intercepted. Number 10. He's going to go all the way. Chased by McCarron, but he won't get there. That's the captain, Brendan Bonner, with the interception and pick 6.
Well, we came in telling you what a great team they are, and boy, they're putting it on now. They're just turning it on, and right now, 41-14 with the extra point ensuing here. And that's what they can do, and that's why they've been so good, and that's why they've had these a lot of big scores against these teams.
80 yards on the pick 6.
Extra point attempt is up and good. So 8:32 to go in the game. It's 42-14 Duxbury.
Well, they are all they were advertised to be, and Holliston really hung in there in that first half. They played a really good first half, and it really showed that, having that 14-14 score, but then you can make a couple of mistakes here and there, and this team just really takes advantage of it. And I'm really impressed by what this team is doing, because across the field there's a really good Holliston team, and they're really defensively now starting to control the ball too, not just offensively.
For Bonner, that was his first touchdown of the season, I think. Looked like he had a nice interception in traffic as he had jumped in front of the ball, but he was off to the races once he found a couple of moves.
That's a very good point. They've been not throwing into traffic, but there's been traffic everywhere. I mean, they've done a great job covering Holliston. That in the middle of the field there or whatever, sometimes side, but when Holliston gets a chance to get to the far side and get by them, there's openings.
This kickoff to the middle of the field, taken by Dennison on a bounce.
There he
Andrew
goes.
Dennison knifes through.
Oh.
Just got tripped up at the 45. A nice return.
What do we got here?
And we got a timeout on the field with a player down. We're going to take a break as well. Good to see James Givens walk off the field under his own power.
Yeah, these guys got a game to play in 5 days too, and they're going to be playing for the TVL championship. So they want to make sure they've
already got the jacket, but it matters whether it says Tide or Tri-Champions or whatever they say on Tide jackets. 1st and 10 for Holliston. Kiley throws, intercepted again by Bonner. So back-to-back plays by number 10.
Well, you never know what an offensive team is going to do, but I am guessing right now that you're going to see this Duxbury team run the ball. 8:18 left to go in the game.
Vesta's got a new running back in the backfield. It's not Alex Barlow. It's number 26.
Number 26.
And not on Not on the
For about 3, it'll be second down.
not on the program. Second down and 8 for Duxbury.
They got a game coming up on Thanksgiving Day too, and I'm sure you're not going to see too much more of Festa running the ball. I'm kind of surprised you're seeing him at all out there.
It's too bad they put the pressure on teams like that to make this decision that are.
That is, it really is. I don't understand it. It doesn't have to be.
Another run up the middle.
You know, my system, my theory has always been you open the season on Labor Day and a week early, and then this weekend, the weekend before Thanksgiving, should be the Super Bowl weekend, and then everyone can play on Thanksgiving. You don't have anything to worry about.
Well, why doesn't anybody listen to you, Jay?
They don't do it here. They don't do it at home. They don't do it
I
anywhere.
mean, I've learned to listen to you, but it did take a few years.
I've learned to tune him out after a while.
Festa with another handoff.
Oh, nice tackle.
Close to a first down. It's going to be 4th down and 1.
Just short of the first down, it'll be 4th down. 4th and 1.
Clock is running. 6:25 left to go in the ball game.
Stopped by number 16, Colin Kerr.
Following us today, I believe, is what, Catholic Memorial in Milford?
Yes, that should be a
following us here
great
today.
game.
That
Yeah.
should be an excellent game.
Timeout Duxbury.
Timeout Duxbury with 5:59 to go in this ball game. We'll be back in a moment. 4th and 1 for Duxbury. Hand off to number 26. He's got enough for the first down.
First down, Dragons. Stopped by a private Panthers.
I get it. Someone just said stop by
Yeah,
a
stop
Pride
by
of Panthers.
That's a good one. Yeah,
Pride of Lions. Is it also a Pride of Panthers too?
Could be.
might be.
Huh? Clock running.
Gaggle?
5:35.
Gaggle of Panthers? Well, that's always. Mice is meese, but moose is
It's
moose.
And just running the clock out. Playing very smartly here.
Hand off to number 26.
Nice hit.
Hunt on the carry, stopped by number 56, Brent Watts.
Timeout on the field with 5:07. We're going to take a quick break. 2nd and 8 for Duxbury. 5:07. They're trying to take as much off the clock as they possibly can. Holliston like to get their offense back on the field. Festa's going to throw.
Oh, almost intercepted.
That was thrown behind Nick Larsh.
Yeah, if Nick turns around just a split second earlier, he might have picked that off.
I'm kind of not sure what that's all about, to be honest with you.
Why would you throw?
I do not
It
know.
was just a time game right there.
Unless there's some kind of
taking a minute off every play.
Unless there's some kind of a record he's throwing for or something. An individual record or something, a stat. I don't know. And it stops the clock at 5:02.
So 3rd and 9. Festa hands off.
Wow.
He's got enough for the first down.
Tackled by number 21, James Gibbons. Duxbury gets a first down.
Givens on the tackle. Good to see him back in the game.
Yeah.
Going to full speed again. I like the way he plays defense. I like the way I talked about that a couple games ago, how he likes to get right up in the receiver's face.
1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. Festa hands off to the running back.
Oh, caught from behind.
Chased down by, was that number 8?
Hunt taken down the
I think that's OZ, yeah.
50-yard line.
No, that's
OZ.
Gentile.
That's
Gentile.
Joey Gentile.
Gentile with the tackle.
Stopped by number 9, Joey Gentile. 2nd down.
This is a club we talked about, Holliston, and coming up here and taking it all the way to the state semifinals and playing against arguably one of the top 2 or 3 teams, maybe even in the entire state here. And like I said, they played them really, really well in that first half. They were right there with them.
Holliston just couldn't shock the world today. Handoff to number 16 on the end around.
Somebody tackle him.
Wow. Refused to lose right there.
That's
Adam Barr.
yep.
Short of the first down.
It's going to be 3rd down and 2.
Number 16 on the carry.
We're down to 3:08, clock running in the ball game.
The box gets a clap on that one, folks. 3rd down.
Festa looks over to Devo and gets the play. 3rd and 1. Handoff to 26.
That's going to be short,
Tackle
I
by
think.
Olson.
That's
I
about a
don't
half.
think he got enough.
No, about a half a yard short. I think it'll be 4th and a half.
With the referee standing, it looks like they might move the stakes.
Oh,
No?
I think he's just short, yeah. I think he needs to get beyond
Yeah,
the 5.
fourth
Beyond
and
the
a half
5,
yard.
yeah.
Clock is running 2:14, 2:13. I'm guessing if he gets this first down and does not get a touchdown, they'll probably just kneel on the ball.
Duxbury takes a timeout.
Timeout
With
Duxbury.
1:59 to go in the ball game, we'll take a quick break. So 4th down and 1 for Duxbury. 1:59 on the clock. Sort of academic at this point, but Duxbury's got to play their part. Holliston would like to get the ball back in the hands of their offense. If nothing, to make a show of to end this ball game.
It does not.
Duxbury runner picks
first
up
down.
enough for the first down.
Does not get in, and I'm wondering now if they'll just
1st down, Duxbury.
they'll wind the clock and see if Duxbury just
1st and goal.
gets in the victory formation here. Well, great job by Holliston. It's year's not over. They still got a big game on Thanksgiving Day. And first of all, for all you fans who have been listening, thank you very much. We appreciate all your support. But come down to the game on Thanksgiving morning, 10 o'clock at the Comedian Field, and watch us play for the
Trophy will be online.
undisputed league championship.
Panthers have a chance to finish off the season with their only losses being against Super Bowl
And
participants.
there Festa takes a knee with 1:15 to go.
Well, I really do think the two teams they lost to, Milton, who was number 1 in Division III, Duxbury, who was number 1 in Division IV, and I'd be surprised if they
They're
weren't
top 10
they
or
weren't
top
Super Bowl
5
champions.
teams.
Yeah.
Holliston just outside the top 5.
While we got a minute here, we want to thank our crew, the great Lindsay Crane up on top of the roof up there, braving the elements. Lindsay, nice job. Of course, Tom Harmon down here on the computer, but he's nice and warm, so I'm not going to make a big deal about him. And we'll watch this play here for a second. Kneel on the ball, and that'll do it. Also want to thank, of course, Carlos on his stats and Tom. Nice job here. We'll give Carlos a minute here and get some final stats?
Yeah, it looked, T.J. Kyler with a couple of touchdown passes in the first quarter, and the big stop by Brady Sweeney just to end the half, and it looked like the Panthers going to receive the second half ball, and everything was going to be rolling the Panthers' way. It was set up for them to really make Duxbury chase them rather than Holliston chase Duxbury. But boy, Duxbury just rolled 5 touchdowns in a row, 4 in the second half, and they put 42 up on the Panthers.
They came out, and we got to be honest, they're the better team today. They really were, and they did a nice job. And I wish them best of luck. I hope they win the Super Bowl. I hope Milton wins the Super Bowl, and Holliston can say their only 2 losses are against Super Bowl champs. But like I said, there's a lot of football left to be played because there's still that Thanksgiving Day game.
And now Los with the final lowdown.
Thank you, Tom. The final score here from Bridgewater. Panthers go down to a very good Duxbury Dragons team. The final score 42-14. This was a tie score going into the locker room at the half, tied at 14 apiece. Duxbury then just scored 28 unanswered points and really opened it up in the second half. The total yardage, 419 for Duxbury, 186 for Holliston. That's 208 yards rushing, 211 yards passing for Duxbury. Only 7 yards rushing for the Panthers to go with 179 yards passing. Duxbury did a really good job on third down today, 8 for 13, converting third downs. Holliston, consequently, 4 of 10 on third down. Penalties became an issue for both of these teams. Duxbury with 8 for 82 yards. Holliston also with 8, but for 56 yards. Time of possession was pretty similar, pretty much just a 5-minute difference in favor of Duxbury. Individually for Holliston, quarterback T.J. Kiley was 19 of 29 for 179 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. The leading rusher for the Panthers was Devin Harding. He had 13 yards on 10 carries. Leading receivers for the Panthers, Brady Sweeting had a great game, 8 catches for 106 yards, including a touchdown reception. Also with the touchdown reception was Andrew Dennison. That was a 14-yard catch for him. And then Devin Harding had 41 yards as well to go along with his rushing yards. For the Duxbury Dragons, what more can you say about Matt Festa? He came as advertised. 15 of 20 for 211 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He did what he needed for Duxbury to win the game. He was also the leading rusher for the Dragons, 71 yards, tied for the leading rusher with Alex Barlow, who also had 71 yards. Alex Barlow had 2 rushing touchdowns, and Matt Festa also had 2 rushing touchdowns. So Festa accounting for 3 total touchdowns on the afternoon. And then the leading receivers for Duxbury, Alex Barlow had 6 catches for 58 yards and a touchdown. Colin Quinlan had 4 catches for 64 yards. And the leading receiver for Duxbury was Chris Walsh with 4 receptions for 81 yards. And then finally, defensively for the Panthers, big games from Brady Sweeney and Owen Zakshevsky. They led all tacklers with 9 apiece. Each of them had tackles for loss in this game. OZ had 2 tackles for loss. And then we had some big plays on defense from the Panthers. We had big pass breakups from Sweeney and Larch. Larch had 2 big pass breakups. Andrew Dennison with another big pass breakup as well. And then the 2 big turnovers that Holliston was able to take away in the first half. One was a muffed punt that was recovered by Cooper Olson, and the second was another fumble recovery by Jack Schelling. For more stats and information on the Holliston Panthers, You can follow us on Twitter at HCatFootball, and that's the lowdown.
Okay, I want to one more time thank our great hosts here in Bridgewater Arena. They were absolutely fantastic and helped us out a real lot. Final score 42-14, but that's okay because, Tom, we're going to be there Thanksgiving Day morning, and we're going to win the TPO
we're going to
title.
beat Westwood and those Wolverines.
All right, from us to you, have a good night.
Good night, everybody.